everyone. I'm Matt Williamson. You probably know that by now. At Williamson NFL. You probably know that by now. Time to break down this game. And you guys know I'm pretty analytical, in terms of breaking down matchups and numbers and all those things. And I'll be honest, there's not a lot of things that really favor the Steelers on paper. One that comes to mind, and there are a few, don't get me wrong, are the Packers happen to be very poor at defending the intermediate levels of the defense. And that's something Rodgers and these tight ends do really, really well. But I like the Packers linebackers and safeties, quite a bit. I think it's a good group. McKinney's a really good player. Cooper's going to be a star. But overall, I will get this out of the way. I think the Rodgers factor is massive. These are human beings, and we forget that way too often. And I kind of threw analytics and logic out the door when I picked the Steelers to beat the Vikings because of emotion and what it means to the team and all those things. And I can tell you Rodgers is wildly popular in that building and is already the leader. I think that matters. More of an analytical thing, getting extra rest is so huge in today's NFL. The more that I study rest differential, the more I realize what a massive advantage it is. And the Steelers have a huge one. We know Tomlin isn't good on short weeks, but is great with extended time to prepare. And frankly, I think this defense, I know it's better than what they played against the Bengals. But you spend 10 days or whatever stewing in that garbage that they put on tape. I really expect a much better performance from that side of the ball. Let's start there. The key, and even Tomlin has brought this up multiple times throughout the week, is slowing down Josh Jacobs. He's only averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Don't pay attention to that. He is a high volume runner. He gets almost all the backfield touches. He's a good receiver. He scores touchdowns at a remarkable rate. He's the most touchdowns in the league going back to opening day of 2024. They use him much more as a receiver than the Raiders do, which made me crazy when he was a Raider. Not that he's Christian McCaffrey, but he's a very able receiver. He's good in protection, highly competitive, tough as could be. And they're going to give the ball a lot, and this team runs the ball a lot. And especially after watching Steelers run defense on Thursday night, why would they not? That's where it starts. Probably my favorite young tight end in the league is Tucker Kraft. He does everything. He's one of the best run after the catch players in the league, regardless of position. Tough as could be as well. Inline blocker, detached, physical, fights for every yard. I think they're going to feature him. And this past week against Arizona was the most usage of Kraft's career. There's some unsettledness amongst their wide receivers. It's not a bad group. Romeo Doubs is the one that gets the most action from that group, but it's sort of uneven group of pass catchers. And wisely this past week, they just said, we'll just go to our tight end because he's becoming one of the best in the league. Speaking of those wideouts, who do you really key on? Golden is still kind of learning his craft. There's a chance, again, I'm recording this Thursday night, that Watson's involved here, probably in limited action. Dobbs is an improved player. He used to just kind of be a take the top off guy and make room for others, but now he's become more of a well-rounded dude, and he's, again, the most featured receiver. How do you deploy the Steeler corners against that group? You probably just left-right it and keep it simple. The more I think through it. Now, an absolute massive key, and I hate that it's gotten to this point, is it feels like they need splash on defense to survive. So I put some stats on Twitter that per drive, Steelers defense allows the most yards per drive in the whole league. And plays per drive, only Miami's out there more than the Steelers in terms of plays per drive. So they're out there all the time, which destroys your time possession and is a huge problem. But they're great at creating splash. So I had somebody wrote me back saying splash or gashed. And that's kind of what they are. They're either getting gashed or they create splash and you're in great shape. And if you don't know, splash is sacks and takeaways and forced fumbles and things like that, of that nature. And they're like the best in the league at it. But when it doesn't come through, it's a real problem. And what's crazy about the Packers is they've only turned the ball over 3 times. And they've only created 3 turnovers. So like Packer games, there's no turnovers in there. It's a tough team to get splash against. But it's getting to the point, especially against a good offense like this one's coming to town. If you don't, I don't know that it'll go well. I mean, just winning success rate, just, down after down has not been good at all for the Steeler defense.
Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials, so you can join in on all the action.
For those of you who are doing real work in construction, in a warehouse, if you're a mechanic, if you want reliable, comfortable gear to help you perform well on the job, Brunt Workwear's got you. They have waterproof boots, safety toe, soft toe, pull on, or lace up, whatever you need. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. I don't know any other brand doing that. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. And for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. That's bruntworkwear.com and use our code DK Sports, all one word, all caps, DK Sports, and you're good to go. After your order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them it was from my show. Thank you so much. All right, let's get to some keys to the game here when the Steelers have the ball. Side note, the Steelers also have a special teams advantage in this game. It's not massive, but Green Bay's not particularly strong, and the Steelers are above average. Rodgers versus former team, we kind of talked about it. It's real. I have no doubt about that. I mean, this is the best run defense in the league, and I don't think the Steelers are going to abandon the run, but they're going to need Rodgers to be a high completion, efficient, touchdown passing guy in the red zone, as he's been, and they're going to need that quite a bit, even just to keep up. The Packers are going to put points on the board. How do you not bring up Parsons? Now, they did well against Myles Garrett. This is an equal test, but they also have Rashawn Gary on the other side, who's a really good player and has had a year or two where he was a Pro Bowl caliber player on his own. And now with Parsons in the mix, it's really hard to get multiple people on both of them. So your offensive tackles, Washington, Anderson, all those guys are going to have to play really well. And Parsons is more of a different test than Garrett. They're both great. But Parsons is really laterally agile and explosive, like moving parallel to the line of scrimmage. So there's times he'll attack as a pass rusher. He's also relentless. He never takes a play off. There's times Parsons will attack an outside shoulder of a tackle, cross all the way over, and be Frazier's responsibility before you know it. I mean, he's just all over the place. So those edge guys are definitely problematic. I'm curious, and in what might be a little bit more pass heavy of a game plan if their run defense is statistically the best in the league. What about Austin's availability and usage? I would really like to have him for this game. To me, the weakest area of this entire Packer roster is probably their corners. They're not horrible. It's hard to find weaknesses on this team overall. But I would like to have my top 2 receivers out there and some more field stretching ability. That might also help your ability to attack the middle of the field. As we mentioned before, the intermediate areas might open up the run game a little bit. And adding Austin into an offense that's starting to hit its stride, I think could be pretty exciting. Do you build on Freiermuth's big game, or is that just kind of a one-off and just keep using tight ends situationally, rotationally? I don't really have an answer, but I am just kind of curious to keep an eye on. Is Freiermuth going to go back to 18, 20 snaps a game? I bet not. I mean, I think even when he was getting that was the fluke, not, him being used quite a bit. But I like the other guys quite a bit as well. I certainly am not taking Washington off the field either way. I mentioned that the middle of the field can be vulnerable to the Packers. So Freiermuth to me is somewhat of an X factor in this one. And I just wanted to talk about Warren too. Last kind of nugget here. I think he's playing really, really well. Great in protection, really good receiver, but just so much yards after contact. And the offensive line's really starting to come around in that they're, to Arthur Smith's credit, they're running a much wider variety of run plays. You're seeing more man concepts, more duo, things of that nature, more pooling linemen, and these are athletic guys, getting them out in space. And Warren's eating that up. And frankly, since the Vikings game, this has been one of the absolute best run games in the league. So for close to a month now, they've been at the top of the league in all rushing categories. So you definitely don't abandon it, even though this is a tough matchup. And Warren has a ton to do with that. I'm sure there's a lot of other angles. We'll obviously discuss this stuff after, and I will be coming to you at like 1 a.m. after the game to, record something. I have the Steelers winning. I don't think they're the better team, but I have them winning 24-23, mostly for the reasons I mentioned to start the show, that proud team, long week, got embarrassed, home, rest advantage, Tomlin, short week versus long week, and Rodgers. I mean, would it shock me if this was the beginning of a bad stretch for the Steelers where they lose 3 out of 4 or something like that? No, but it's not what I'm picking or predicting or expecting. All right, everyone, this was fun. We will talk after the game.